made a video in a while. I'm gonna go over what loadouts I'm using, specifically what gunsmiths I'm using. Don't really focus on like what um I guess kill streaks I'm using because I kind of just use whatever I would use in scrims, which are the 100 kilo predator missile and then the EMP. Just focus on really the gunsmiths. So in no particular order, CBR4. Here's what I use. Now, the CBR4 already has good strafe speed, so in my opinion, you don't really need to have a light stock on it. You can even put on a mono suppressor, to be honest with you, for that extra range. You don't really need a light stock because it already has good strafe speed. This loadout's pretty good. It's pretty balanced. Doesn't really have any downsides. Also, it's good in the close range, too, because, I mean, the CBR4 just naturally has good movement speed. So that's what I use on my CBR4. You can kind of swap out the mono for tactical suppressor. Your opinion. Growl. Here is my slow-paced growl. Also, guys, I just stopped using red dot sight recently because I kind of do better without it, and it kind of obstructs some of your view. So I just prefer not having a red dot sight. So here is my slow-paced growl build. The iron side of the growl is really good, so you don't really need a red dot sight. But this is kind of what I'm sitting back, obviously not pushing in. Number 3, ASM-10. I may have said this in the past, but this is the most underrated weapon in the game. This loadout is really broken. The Branson barrel is really good, up close, far away. If you're not really pushing, you can take off the Branson and put on the marksman barrel for that extra recoil control. But the Branson already gives you good recoil control. I guess if you want the damage range, I should say. If you want 33% damage range, put on the marksman. But I already have the mono suppressor to kind of balance out that damage range, so I don't think it's needed. Try this out. It will not let you down. If you don't have this iron sight, you can still use the regular ASM-10, and the iron sights are not too bad. Okay, LK-24. I don't use this as much. Last season, it was my most used weapon in ranked. This season, I don't use it as much as I said earlier. It's still a good weapon. It's not a top 5 weapon, but it's still a pretty decent weapon. Here's what I use. You can take off the no stock, but the ADS time for the LK-24 is pretty slow. So if you put on a strike stock, just know that you're not going to be able to move around the map that much. And you're going to be pretty much holding angles. But you could try to play it that way. But I like the no stock on this weapon. Kilo. I said earlier, I don't like having that red dot sight, or in this case, having the mythic on. I just think it does a little bit better when I can see everything. So I'm using a variant of my Kilo that doesn't have that zoomed in scope. And this is what I use on my Kilo. If you're going to use the Ranger foregrip in the steady stock, it's going to give you more aim shake. That's just a fact. Unless you're using like Sync ADS Alpha V, then you won't even see the aim shake. But if you're not using it, because I don't use Sync ADS, use these attachments right here, because Ranger foregrip, it will have more kick. Like, it won't actually be kicking up, but it's going to have more aim shake. I don't know if you guys know what aim shake is, but it's where like it doesn't actually give you recoil, but it just feels like your aim is shaky when you're shooting. I don't like that feeling. So that's why I like to use the operator instead of the Ranger foregrip, and I like to use granulated instead of steady stock. Okay. U-736, really good weapon. It's always been good. I've been using the same attachments, I don't know, year or two. Really good, pretty balanced. I don't think it needs much explaining. This is what pretty much everyone uses. Some of the pros use the 50 mag because they don't like to have that ADS time. 2% difference. To me, 2% is nothing. I don't know why they don't use 60, because they probably don't need that many bullets, because they aren't really taking, team fights like you would do in rank match. Right, with randoms. But moving on, KN-44, I recently just started using this. The reason is because it has more mobility than the LK-24. The LK-24 has better range, I think, in my opinion, and it has less recoil, but it's not really mobile, so it's hard to play it really aggressive. The KN-44, you can play it aggressive with the no stock. The recoil is a lot more. The horizontal recoil is a lot more. But if you can play it in a close range, close to mid-range, and you strafe, then the recoil doesn't really matter because you're strafing. So the recoil is moving left to left as you're moving left to right, so you don't really notice the recoil if you strafe. If you stand still and you try to beam opponents far away with the LK24, you're not using the weapon right. It's not meant for that because the recoil is pretty noticeable at longer ranges. So I wouldn't recommend playing this like an LK24. It's meant as a hybrid weapon, kind of like how the Krig was when it first came out, right? Hybrid weapon. That's kind of what the KN44 is. DRH. I have 2 DRH loadouts and I have 2 ground loadouts. So you're going to see the same weapon twice. This is my longer range DRH. DRH is the best weapon in the game. Every pro is using it. If you watch scrims, you're going to see 5-man DRHs versus 5-man DRH. It's overpowered. It's kind of crazy how the weapon just now started being used a lot because it hasn't had a nerf or buff. So I don't quite get why all of a sudden now the pros want to use DRH. But this skin is really good. This skin is in the 4U store. If you go to 4U, right, and go to assault rifles and choose the DRH, you're going to be able to buy the skin. This is the best DRH skin. The iron sights are really clear, really, really good. It's kind of funny because I bought this DRH Wicked Claw over 1.5 years, 2 years ago, and it's terrible. Absolutely terrible skin. The iron sights are terrible. This skin right here, Blood Rose, is so much better. So if you can afford to buy this skin, trust me, you won't need any other DRH skin in the game. This is by far the best DRH skin. This is what all the pros use. Number 8, PDW. A lot of the pros use the PDW too. They like to use attack suppressor with the Ranger barrel or MIP extended light barrel. I like the extra range because I like to play my weapons, my SMGs as ARs. As you all know, I said that in every video. I'm an AR player. So everything I build is built for ARs. Even if it's an SMG, I build it as an AR. But try the PDW out. It's a really decent weapon and it's underrated. Number 9, this is what I use most of the time now. Like if I'm playing ranked match now, I'm going to be using the Growl and the DRH. This is my go-to Growl build. The other Growl build is for sitting back. But if you want a more hybrid, versatile play that you can use in any map, in any scenario, use this loadout right here. Now, I have the Mythic Growl. I don't like it. I just don't like that extra recoil and kick that it gives you. I just feel like I like it a lot better without having any red dot sight on it because I'm not using Sync ADS. If I was using Sync ADS, I would be using the Mythic Growl. But because I recently took Sync ADS off like 2-3 months ago, this is what I use every game. It is really good, has no downsides, great at far, low recoil, good strafing speed. Use it with the normal iron sights. You will not be disappointed, trust me. So use this and then use the DRH. Here is my DRH loadout that I use most of the time because this is more versatile because it has a no stock instead of having a steady stock. And because I have the Marksman barrel, which gives you 18% ADS bullets per accuracy, and the granulated grip tape, you don't really need a steady stock because you're already going to have that ADS bullet spread from these 2 attachments right here. So yeah, this is pretty much what I use. Right now, the top 2 weapons in the game, I think that are really good are the DRH and the Growl, and this is what the pros use. Like, it's just a fact. A lot of times I don't agree with the pro meta, but in this case, the DRH and the Growl are the best, so I would say use those. And if I had to pick a third weapon to use that's really underrated, I'm going to have to say the ASM-10. Like, it's just such a good weapon that no pros use. And I don't know if you guys know, but the DRH is probably going to get nerfed. And once it does, I think a lot of pros are going to switch to using the ASM-10 with a 33 mag, I think. Don't hold me on that, but I think that's coming. I think that's the new meta. In about 2 to 3 months, ASM-10 will be meta because, trust me, it's broken as shit. And if you want to get a head start now, try it out. Try it out, trust me. You can put a no stock on if you want to be aggressive, but it doesn't need it. Like, this weapon is not meant to be... I guess you could put on no stock with a Branson barrel, with a attack suppressor, and go fully close range because the Branson barrel reduces your damage range, I think. Doesn't it? Oh, no. Wait, maybe I'm mistaken. It doesn't reduce your damage range, but the ASM-10 naturally has a low damage range. So you could play it close range. That's what somebody did in the Call of Duty Mobile World Championship. They used a Branson with a attack suppressor with a no stock, and they just played close range. You could play it that way, or you could play it the way I have it now with the mild suppressor to give it that extra range. But that's the video, guys. Hopefully you guys take away what the top weapons are in the game. I don't really use SMGs a lot, but the Switchblade is the best SMG, so they say. I think the CBR 4 is a little bit more versatile because of the low recoil, but Switchblade is better up close by far. Hopefully you guys like the video and you like more videos like this, and thanks for watching.